Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video, and you remember a little while ago I did a video about these Savoir whiskey stones. They're little metal cubes for keeping drinks cool, and I put them in beer and wine and various things to try out and see just how good of a job they do. I've been really enjoying them, but I thought to myself, you know what, I haven't actually used them in whiskey yet, so let's give that a whirl. Work. All right, we've got some Glenfiddich here and 3 whole glasses. Now, my dad is a bit of a whiskey aficionado, and he has always told me you never, ever should put ice cubes into whiskey. It should be drunk neat, that is, directly with nothing to keep it cool. But I do know, scotch on the rocks and all that kind of thing. Most people generally think of whiskey or scotch with ice cubes in them. So what I'm going to try is I'm going to pour some Glenfiddich just in 1 glass, neat, nothing added. Then I'm going to put some more Glenfiddich in here with some ice cubes. And then I'm going to do more Glenfiddich in the 3rd glass with the whiskey stones just to see what differences there in flavor and how well does the whiskey stone chilling work compared to the ice cubes. And as my dad has always said, do the ice cubes actually water down the flavor of the whiskey? So yes, once again, work. Let's give this a try. Now, to do whiskey properly, you can measure it in fingers. And these glasses that I have a bit of a base on them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go fairly hefty here. I'm going to have 3 fingers of whiskey in each glass. But again, because it's got quite a deep base here, it's not going to be quite that much alcohol. So let's go with the first one. 3 fingers for the second glass. All right, so I've made sure they're all the same level. They are. I know it doesn't quite look it from this angle. So this one will be our kind of control specimen. It'll be just neat. This will be the one with ice cubes. This will be the one with the whiskey stones. All right, here we go. So 2 ice cubes for the middle fella. And 2 whiskey stones into number 3. So I think what I'm going to do is give these about 5 minutes just to rest, let those chilling items have a little moment to make an effect, and then I'll try tasting all 3. Be back soon. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes, so I gotta say I'm not much of a whiskey drinker, so this will be kind of interesting, but what is it like just neat? This will be kind of our control sample here. Alright, yep, that's whiskey. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to be getting from whiskey neat, but let's see what it's like with ice cubes in it. Give it a little spin. Okay. You know what? Interestingly, after only 5 minutes, I do taste a difference in the strength of the flavor, so maybe there's something to that. Now, let's try it with the whiskey stones. Well, I'm going to have to give it a little bit more time. I think of the 3, I think I kind of like it with the whiskey stones. I think I do like the whiskey being chilled, but I can see that this is diluted, and even I can taste that one's diluted in comparison to these other guys. Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, let's come back again in about, let's give it another 15 minutes just to give the ice cubes a good long time to melt in there. Be back soon. All right, well, I was going to wait 15 minutes, but the ice is actually almost completely melted, so I think it might be a good idea for me to have some of this again right now. This is 10 minutes later. So again, our non-chilled neat version. Let's have a go. All right, so that was it neat. Now with the almost completely melted away ice cubes. Yeah, that is diluted. Although I gotta say, I think I like it colder than at room temperature. So in that case, let's try it with the whiskey stones. Well, the whiskey stones definitely have the advantage that they have nicely chilled it as much as the ice cubes. Yeah, interesting. I think for myself personally, and I'm going to give this another 10 minutes, but for myself personally, I think definitely diluted with ice cubes is really not the proper way. I agree with my dad. You wouldn't really want to put ice cubes in scotch, but I like the chill factor. I like drinking this drink as a chill, and the whiskey stones are doing that nicely. So again, we'll try it in another 10 minutes, and by then I'm thinking this ice cube will have completely melted. Maybe I'll give it another 5 minutes. That way, all of the ice will have melted, but it should still be relatively cool. Back in 5. Okay, here we are, 5 minutes later. Ice is, yep, pretty much gone there. So, once again, our neat control specimen. All right. Now the ice, okay, it is still cool, so that's good. And it is quite a lot more in here than in the other two glasses. So clearly those ice cubes have melted completely. What's it like diluted? Yeah, it's diluted, all right. It's not bad, though. Seems to be, like, smoother, in my opinion. And theoretically, that's because of the chill, so let's see what the whiskey stones have done to keep all of the flavor of this guy, but with the chill of this guy. This should be the best. Yeah, actually, I'm thinking that's true. This is the way I like it the most. When it's neat, it has a bit of a burning sensation, not in a bad way, just, you can really, there's a strong kind of flavor that's hitting your taste buds with neat whiskey. So, yeah, very, very hot going down, if you will. And so chilling it, I think, must have been some kind of an address to that. But ice cubes do really melt it, really do dilute it. So that's actually, there's some real science to that. Tip of the hat to my dad on that one. I do quite like it with the whiskey stones. Now, let's give it another 10 minutes. We know that the whiskey stones are usually good for maybe 45, and then they've kind of lost their chill. So I figure maybe I can squeeze 10 more minutes of cold temperature out of those guys. By then, I'm sure this will have reached room temperature, the same as our neat specimen, and it'll be interesting to see in 10 minutes, when this is the same temperature as this, it'll strictly be the diluted extra water in there that will be affecting the flavor. Let's give it another 10 minutes. I'll be back. All right, here we are, 10 minutes later, and there's a little bit of chill left on the ice cube one, but you know what? We're just going to go for it here. So, once again, my control specimen, neat. All right. And the definitely diluted and probably kind of room temperature ice cube guy. Actually, that does still have not exactly a chill, but imagine if you had run the cold tap for 30 seconds. It's got a little bit of chill left in it. And yeah, the flavor is definitely diluted at this point. I'm thinking our whiskey stones are going to be the winner here. Let's just give these a whirl. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to draw some conclusions here. So, for myself personally, the whiskey neat has, what's a nice way to say this? There's almost like a little bit of a burning sensation going down. I mean, I'm sure that's a good thing. I'm sure that's a sign of a good whiskey. And Glenfiddich, I mean, that's well known as being a very high quality, excellent whiskey. So cannot fault the brand. And that burning sensation, I guess, is just part of the nature of the beast. Um, there must be some people, though, that find that off-putting, and so therefore they'd like to have it chilled, and therefore they do the ice cube thing. But at this stage, I mean, I poured these, what, 25 minutes ago? And now that there's just slightly cool, very diluted whiskey left in the glass, I can see my dad's point that, yeah, it's not exactly the way you would like it. Of the two, if you don't have access to whiskey stones, it's not very nice. This is probably the better way to go. But if you have the whiskey stones, if you have any way of chilling your drink, maybe with like a little, I don't know, a silicone chilling grip around the glass, or some way of cooling off the whiskey. I have to say, for myself personally, I like the whiskey colder than the room temperature stuff. I was just taking a little drink here. Yeah, if it's at all possible to cool the drink, that is actually, for myself personally, a nicer way for it to go down. The room temperature stuff has that little bit of a burn. With a cooled bit of technology like these whiskey stones, etc., that is, for me personally, a nicer way for the drink to go down. So, if you have access to some way of cooling the drink, as I say, like the whiskey stones or some kind of a cooling wrapper around the glass, that would actually be the way I would personally. That's the way I would prefer to drink it, and I would actually recommend it that way. But if that is not an option, if you don't have that possibility, then I would say, yeah, definitely of the two choices of neat or with ice cubes, yeah, neat is actually going to win out. So there we go. An interesting little experiment, and I've had quite a lot of whiskey. Oh, the work. Okay, well, I hope you all appreciate the sacrifices I have made for you. But until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.